This is the magic tonight. Oh hey, I'm the Murfler. Now some of you, probably actually all of you, don't know, but I'm a big fan of Magic the Gathering. More specifically, the format Commander or EDH. Now I usually have some weird quirky decks and, well, I guess today I'm going to show you what I'll be playing tonight. Come on. Now, you're all probably wondering what I'm going to be playing here. I guess it's probably green with the tree there, but like I said, I like to play interesting decks, so actually I'll be playing colorless, you can see that. There's the general, Ulamog, the infinite Grai. So now let me break down what my choices are, and we'll be starting with lands first. Nice and shiny too, ain't he? So we'll be starting off with the help or hinder lands. Either lands that will be helping you or hindering your opponent. You've got stuff like, Wintermoon Mesa, Ghost Quarter, Strip Mine, Tectonic Edge, Wasteland, all land targeting lands. And you got things, like the basic mazes. You can just stop a creature. You got things that sort of help you out in a way, be it Diamond Valley, target one of your creatures before it gets killed. You see why that'll be helpful later. Cards like Arena will also be very helpful later, you'll see why. And, well, something you can tap down other artifacts with, and everyone knows everyone's going to run the basic same artifacts in EDH. So, next we'll be jumping onto the land accelerators. By mana accelerators, I mean basically mana that's going to tap for more than just one. We got stuff like Scorch Ruin where you sacrifice 2 land and it taps for 4 on its own. Workshop, 3 colorless for artifacts. Ancient Tomb, you can tap it for 2 colors and pay 2 life. You got that, taps for 2 colors, but you gotta have 5 land. Pay 2 life, you add 2, you can use it to play legendary creatures only. Crystal Vein, you can use it for 1 colorless or sack it for 2. The basic Urzatron, everyone knows that shit. You have them out and they tap for loads more. Mirrodin's Core, Glimmer Post, and Cloud Post. Mirrodin's Core, build up those counters and use them. The posts, they're both out, they'll both tap for 2. And of course, the Eldrazi Temple, not really good unless you're running a lot of Eldrazi, and, well, my general's Eldrazi, so might as well use it. Now, these lands here are essential to this deck, unbelievably so. Especially this fucker here. Eye of Ugin. Eldrazi are 2 colorless less to cast, and you can go search for any creature in this deck. Hell, if you fucking put your general back, you can go grab him, play him for his original price, not his commander price. You have cards like Vesuva. Hell, you can turn it into a double of any card, and 2 of something really good in EDH as well. Really good. Especially with all these lands I've been showing you. Buried Ruin. You're not going to find many artifacts return in this deck, because, well, it's colorless. Colorless doesn't have that many, at least not that many you can play with, so you can only sack it to get something good. And Deserted Temple, in there just to help out the other lands. You can use 1 colorless from a Scorched Ruin to untap it again and gain 7 just out of 2 lands. And we got the other lands that don't really fit into a place, whether it be man lands or just weird lands. Be it Petrified Field, I can sack it to go get another land. Homeward Path, something I need defense against control decks. I got really no defense against her. Darksteel Citadel, it's indestructible. If someone destroys everything, it'll at least survive. Archaeological Dig. It's colorless. Give me a break. Moonspeak, the Moonspeak. Taps for colorless. I can cycle it to draw a card. Deck needs a lot of card draw. Keep its fuel going, so. Hall of the Bandit Lord. I can give my general haste or some other creature. Reliquary Tower, I have no max hand size. Basically the creature lands here, the Workshop, 2/2 Assembly Worker or some shit like that. Stalking Stones, Killer Stonehenge. Ink Moth and Blink Moth work great with each other. Killed a few people with this combo right here. And yeah, that's basically the land. Equals up to about 48 as I recall. 38, sorry. 38 land in this deck. A little low for the high cost I have in this. But Let me show you why. But first, let me get the enchantments out of the way, along with the sorceries and instants. Yeah, there's only 2. Didn't add none of this world because, well, I can fill it with something better that slot. That eldrazi conscription just to make something even bigger and pound their face in. And Annihilator really helps too. All this dust. A mass kill that targets everyone but you. Once again, this is won me quite a few games dropping this on the field. As you can see, the deck has quite a bit of mana to sell. 14 in all. Now you got your basic stuff like your artifacts that tap for more colors, whether it be your Mana Vault, Grim Monolith, Mana Crypt, Dublin Cube, Soul Ring, Tharn Dynamo, Salt Monolith. These two are actually some of the best, I think. You got the Blink Moth Urn, which is going to come out quick with the help of all this crap. And then you got the Candelabra, which is just going to untap all those lands that tap for more than just one colorless. And then you got your things that make it cheaper. Semblance Anvil's good. Choose an artifact creature. Hell, artifacts and creatures cost 2 less. Just choose, you know, artifacts for that. Same thing. This guy actually I think is the best for making everything cheaper. Gives artifacts affinity for artifacts. Got enough out, your deck basically costs nothing. And then you got these 2 interesting choices. I personally thought this deck doesn't have a lot of card draw. So you have the choice of either adding mana, or if you're in a pinch, stacking them to draw more cards. Here we got, well, insurance cards. Basically these things are going to help keep you alive, if you will. Whenever you're in a pinch, or they'll help you out some way. So you got stuff like the Junk Diver, he'll grab an artifact when he dies. Crucible, that'll help get your lands back if there's someone shooting them. This one will be great because you'll have a bunch of colorless land to use if you got a swarm of creatures coming at you, which is a problem with this deck. And this will just make all your artifacts invincible. That's good with stuff like Predator Flagship, more importantly the disc. You can just keep discing until you win. The O-Stone, same thing with the Crucible of Worlds. And well, these guys basically put stuff away for safekeeping, whether it be your opponent's creatures or just your own. So when someone wraths, you can drop a bunch of shit out on them. So these are the miscellaneous cards that are going to either help you out or help keep you alive or play something quicker than intended. You got stuff like the J-Made Tomb, helps you draw cards. Mind's Eye, great, you can draw cards every turn. You need these because, well, you're not going to have much card draw. And those work great with these 2. Untapping artifacts every turn. Hell, you can even play artifacts on their turns. You gotta wait for your turn to roll around. Got stuff like Voltaic Key, Clock of Omens. You can use basically any artifact more than once. That's very helpful too. You got stuff like the Planner Portal and Temporal Aperture. The Planner Portal, you can search for anything for 6 and put it into your hand, or Temporal Aperture, you can Russian Roulette and play something from the top of your deck for 5. Sensei's Dividing Top, so you see what's coming. Sculpting Steel, hell, you can have 2 of any of these great artifacts. Expedition Map, grab any of those awesome lands you need. Scroll Rack, fuck, you got 2 hands, it's awesome. Mirror Works, you can put out another copy of an artifact, and Quicksilver Amulet. And drop any of those big creatures that I have yet to show you. So, as you can see, not many creatures in this deck. You know, you got your basic eldrazi, you got Kozilek and his Artisan here. And That Betrays, probably one of the best with combined with your generals. They sack everything and you gain everything. And you got your insurance policy creatures, but unlike the Junk Diver, these 2 can actually do something. So that's why they're in the creature pile instead of in the assistant pile there. And these 4, not creatures, but they sure as hell play the part. Bone Horde is amazing if there's no spell range, and Batterskull, hell, it can become a creature and you can keep putting it out. Processor is great if you either play with the 30 life or the 40 life rule, or the Replicator. The fucking thing can put out 20/20s too. You got so much mana in this deck. And then you got just the creatures that are here to hurt, like the Battlesphere. You can put out more mirrors with the Turbine and do more damage with it. Darksteel Colossus is an 11/11 trample indestructible. Hard to get rid of him, and this will just shoot anything you don't want. You'll become that creature. Minus the abilities, of course. Hellkite, amazing ability with the destroy each non-land permanent. Thopter Assembly, hard to kill. Wormcoil Engine, amazing creature. He gives you something to summon Wraths. Blightsteel Colossus, a game ender if you happen to get hit by him. And well, the cheerleaders for these guys, they're once again decent, but you can still find a use for them. Unlike the Junk Diver, that's only there to die and get a card from your graveyard. And finally guys, the last two cards in the deck. You know the one of them, the General, Ulamog, but you also have the only Planeswalker I can play with, Karn Liberated. Amazing card, you can win games with this fucker. And that's about it. That's the deck, guys. Now, every deck has weaknesses, of course. Mine's stuff like Shatterstorm, Creeping Corrosion. Bribery and Acquire are really bad if they go grab that Blightsteel or even any of the eldrazi in that deck. But actually, the worst two is Vishnu Heretic, shoot an artifact, takes that much damage its controller, or Titania Song. Holy fuck, that card wrecks this deck. Nothing I can do about it. All artifacts lose their abilities and become creatures, equal to their cost. Yeah, I lose when that shit comes out. But, thankfully, playing artifacts. People don't run that kind of stuff. And fags like that are just gonna die against this deck. I'll be releasing the part 2, guys, when I come back. See ya.